Thanks and welcome to join. Female student expelled for drug use at the Magba Bilingual High School. Images circulating on social media showed the students smoking shisha during lessons. And the 21st and 22nd witnesses on the Martinez-Zogo case have testified on the operational procedure of the Directorate General of External Research. 40 witnesses will be heard in the murder trial of the Martinez-Zogo case. And regional and local authorities urged to rethink how to manage public debt as Cameroon prepares to implement its 2026 budget. Top stories. Check us on our respective platforms on Canal International. We begin from Magba in the west region of the country, where a shocking image or incident inside a classroom has actually reignited debate on discipline and substance abuse. It happened in Magba Government Bilingual High School. And so the images are circulating on social media is that of a student smoking shisha during lesson. This has actually led to swift disciplinary measure, as we hear from Morindi.
What may appear at first glance to be a casual scene from a snack bar or a leisure sport is in reality a troubling incident that unfolded within an academic setting.
Ouvre. Amira, qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? Dis-nous. Lève-toi. Lève-toi. Ouvre les yeux. Lève-toi.
The scene took place in Terminal Day classroom at Magba Bilingual High School, located in the noon division. Images circulating widely on social media show a student, Fuapong Samira, allegedly smoking shisha during class hours. The viral nature of the images quickly sparked public outrage and raised serious concerns about discipline and substance abuse in schools.
Je voudrais déjà rassurer les uns et les autres que c'est un cas isolé. Il ne faut pas qu'on pense que l'indiscipline règne dans notre établissement. Tel n'est pas le cas.
Reacting to the incident, the principal of Magba Bilingual High School, Oseni Umaru, expressed deep shock and disapproval. According to school authorities, the act constituted a serious violation of the institution's internal regulations and ethical standards.
Nous avons déjà convoqué un conseil de discipline spécial qui a tranché et qui a pris un certain nombre, n'est-ce pas, de sanctions.
As a result, the school administration took a firm decision, the definitive expulsion of students from the institution.
L'exclusion définitive concernant la mise en cause et celui qui s'est permis, n'est-ce pas, de filmer.
The decision marks a significant turning point in the student's academic journey. The expulsion effectively disqualifies her from sitting for the General Education Baccalaureate Examinations Session 2026, a loss that may have long-term consequences on her educational and professional future.
Nous préparons sereinement nos différents examens officiels.
Beyond the individual case, the incident has reignited national debates on drug consumption among students, the influence of social media on school discipline, and the balance between punishment and rehabilitation in the education system. As schools increasingly face challenges linked to youth behavior and digital exposure, the Magba case stands as a stark reminder of the fragile boundary between adolescents' responsibility and institutional authority.
Thanks very much, Maureen G. And the 21st and 22nd witnesses of the Martinez-Zogo murder case have testified in front of the military tribunal on the operational procedure of the Directorate General of External Research, Irene CV Manga, the former Chief of Staff of the Directorate General of External Research, and Lilian Dang Elunu, Director of General Affairs. actually entered the dock this January. Beatrice Nkamo.
The first witness to appear before the military court in Yaoundé January 27 was Irene Sylvie Manga, former head of the Secretariat of the Directorate General for External Research. DJRE's ex-Director General Maxime Ekoeko, testifying for the government commissioner. She was questioned on DJRE internal procedures, particularly regarding every mission requires a formal operation order. She concluded that the operation that led to the assassination of Martinez Zogo, in which DGRE's agents, the former Director General and the Director of Operations have been implicated, was an off-record mission carried out outside official channels. Another key revelation was her statement that all contacts between Maxime Ekoeko, the DGRE Director General, and Justin Dawe, Director of Operations, had been cut at the time of the events, following an official memo placing Justin Dawe under the coordination of the Technical Advisor No. 1, a long load. His testimony challenges claims that Justin Dawe met Maxime Ekoeko on January 18 and 23, 2023 to report on the Martinez Zogo operation, a position confirmed by lawyers representing Maxime Ekoeko, who is in charge with complicity in torture. Contrary to the gentleman's claim, there is no evidence, since it doesn't exist, that the then managing director gave any such order. The various parties in the case took turns questioning the witness. DGRE agents maintained a consistent position, stating they acted under orders from the way appeared unconcerned. Why would this, other than those aimed at clearing one's voice? The second witness of the day, Lilian Dang Engolo, Director of General Administration at the GGRE, and also a government commissioner witness, during her testimony, she reiterated that every operation must be authorized through a formal operation order. She had a long question sessions from the various legal parties. Next hearing, February 16 and 17, 2026, at the military court in Yaoundé.
Thanks very much, Beatrice Nkamo. And as Cameroon prepares for the municipal and legislative elections, voters' registration centers in Douala remain unusually quiet. And despite calls for mass participation, turnout at Elecam's offices remain low. This has raised concerns amongst political actors as well as the electoral authorities. Details with Morindi.
With less than a month to the legislative and municipal elections, turnout at Elecam offices in Douala remains low. At most, about 10 people visit per day. The head of the Elecam Douala 2 office told us of camera. Those who do come say they are hoping for a renewal of the political class to improve their well-being. If I choose to participate in this election, it is because I want to help change what we are currently experiencing in our society. Let's take a concrete example: garbage that floods our streets. I am participating in the elections and encouraging others to do the same, especially in local elections. I know the laws are voted at the National Assembly, and it is through these laws that we can control government action. Today, it is necessary for everyone who considers themselves Cameroonians to have a voter's card, to stand up and take a position, because we must bring new life into the Republic. Others say they have embraced the President of the Republic's promise of a centenary for youth and women. Most of the newly registered voters are young people. It is time for young people to take responsibility. There must be renewal from the grassroots to the highest level. We must choose a new generation to make decisions for our country. If we do not participate in the elections, we will continue to complain. Elections Cameroon, the body responsible for organizing elections and ensuring their transparency and credibility, says it is fully mobilized. Political parties are also gearing up for their election campaigns as the electoral deadline approaches in the coming weeks.
Thanks very much, Maureen D. And regional and local authorities have been urged to make sure they manage public debt as Cameroon prepares to launch its 2026 budget. A new circular from the Ministry of Finance has laid out stricter rules and regulations on borrowing monitoring and accountability. Details will be tracing come.
The circular from the Ministry of Finance sets out the macroeconomic context, identifies stakeholders involved, and defines the prerequisites for the execution of the budget for the regional and local authorities. It further specifies the modality for budget execution, as well as follow-up monitoring and evaluation, performance management, control, and reporting of the set budget. Understanding the prescriptions in the finance law and circular, very important for these authorities.
Appropriate what they have gathered from it, execute it effectively in the field. Don't forget that the local council, so their execution of the budget will affect the execution of state budget.
One of the innovations this year concerns the management of debt.
It is forbidden to transfer or modify credit that has been earmarked to pay debt expenses where service has already been rendered. So it's important that authorizing officers at the level of secretary should try to protect so that those who have already rendered services should be paid. Because when they earmark a project, is to ameliorate the living condition of the population. So if people have already rendered services and they are not being paid for one reason or the other, it becomes frustrating, and at the end of the day, some of those projects will be abandoned and living condition of the population will not be good.
Another innovation is that the budgets of regional and local authorities have evolved. Their budget is now elaborated in a program mode, meaning they now have specific earmarked objectives. It is no longer the allocation that determines the budgetary choices, but the results to be attained.
The execution should also follow that same format. We cannot elaborate a budget, a program budget, and execute something else. So it should be executed in a program mode.
So at all stages, these authorities need to break down the results for people to follow. The population involved in the development of their communities can effectively follow the execution of these projects for broader knowledge of what is going on within their localities. Move intended to improve the physical execution rates of projects, and why not local governance here in the central region.
Thanks very much, Beatrice Ngamo. With growing human pressure on the Jar biosphere, in fact, the pressure is putting much on the Jar biosphere, and of course, this is one of Central Africa's richest ecosystems. It is at risk, and Hisincha is reporting that with facing high poaching and illegal exploitation of the forest, the government is doing everything to make sure they contain the reserve. Details.
The Jar Fauna Reserve continuously faces threats of human actions that constitute a danger to the biodiversity. These actions include poaching, with the indiscriminate killing of animals for food and money, deforestation leading to habitat loss, as well as agricultural activities that damage the forest and endangered species. It is against these threats that stakeholders of the reserve, Jum Community, South Region of Cameroon, are brought together in this forum by the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife, in collaboration with the European Union, the African Wildlife Foundation, and the European Forest Institute on January 26 and 27 to seek lasting solutions.
A stakeholder forum like this one gives an opportunity for the voices for the communities to be heard, their contribution in the management of the Jar Fauna Reserve, and also their implication in conservation actions to ensure the protection of biodiversity.
One of the major ways of preserving the forest and animals is to provide the population with alternative economic activities.
We support them with income generating activities like agriculture, crop production, food crop production, and also collect of product need anymore to go inside the forest to do poaching or to do agriculture inside the forest, because they have the incomes in their village around the forest.
The Jar Biosphere Reserve is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site that warrants an efficient joint protection plan.
In the Jar Fauna Reserve, UNESCO has several interventions The first is UNESCO is implementing a couple of projects. The first is the Natural Suites project that is funded by the European Union. So UNESCO is supporting the state party in the implementation of the World Heritage Convention in Cameroon, in the Natural World Heritage Site, especially the Jar Fauna Reserve.
The two-day Stakeholders Forum was also an occasion for administrative authorities to amplify sensitization of the local population on the importance of collective protection and preservation efforts.
Thanks very much, Hyacinth. Cameroonian author and writer Elimbi Oscar has actually urged Africans to embrace knowledge, awakening as a means to true path to liberation. Details with Moringi.
In his 450-page book, Le Magnificat de la Pensée Blanche, author Oscar Elimbi speaks directly to both Africans and Europeans, ensuring a bold and thoughtful appeal. Addressing Africans in particular, Elimbi calls for the construction of a strong intellectual foundation and a renewed mindset rooted in wisdom, strategy, and self-mastery. He firmly rejects violence, advocating for Elimbi, Africans must not only resist domination, but do so with clarity, foresight, and intelligence.
The book is on what everything the Westerners have done since they came 5 cycles before. We had starvation, we have colonization. Now we are under terrorism. We don't know what terrorism. African doesn't know what that means. So they imported, and they said it in our country. So even if we are facing all those difficulties since the time of excavation, I'm inviting my people, especially Africans, my people, to do not take revenge.
The symbolism on the book's cover reinforces this message. According to the author, the downwards moving drawing represents the gradual collapse of Western civilization, a powerful visual statement meant to provoke reflection on shifting global realities and the urgency for Africans to prepare intellectually for the future.
For example, my grandmother, she used to see on TV the Tour Eiffel on the place. Now she sees it on my book, up and down. But she asked, what my son is doing? It's like, I want to attract the attention.
The book was officially presented January 28 in Douala, accompanied by a strong call for Cameroonians and Africans alike to engage deeply with reading as a path of mental emancipation.
Very much, Morinji. And Beatrice Ngamo is telling us that the new fabric for Women's Day celebration, or Women's Day 2026, that will be coming up in March 8, has been unveiled. It was done in Yaoundé, and this is just what she presents as the changes or modalities in the new.
The official colors of the International Women's Day fabric in Cameroon are green and salmon, symbolizing splendor, beauty, resilience, hope, and positive energy. The matching colors, flowery designs carry their content.
Les roses choisies sont de couleur jaune. Et dans ce pain,
the yellow roses are a deliberate choice.
Une image phare.
In this fabric, there is a central image of a rose with a woman and Cameroon emerging from it, releasing a dove. For years now, women have been at the forefront of peaceful initiatives, especially concerning them. The images, the fabric is also etched with messages, some 3 described here.
Alors, il y a un message qui présente la femme comme actrice de paix. Il y a un message.
A message presenting women as peacemaker, a message promoting female entrepreneurship, and another message fighting violence against women. This ties in with sustainable development growth. Number 15, which is on gender equality and empowering women and girls. 4 years to the deadline, imperative to evaluate how far Cameroon has gone. Concerning justice, do women have equal access to justice as men? Looking at recent public outcry over feminicide cases, all substances of the different messages. Women will be honored and celebrated during the 41st International Women's Day around the theme, Rights, Justice, Action for All Women and Girls.
Beatrice Ngamo drawing the curtains for this edition of the 6:15. I've been Kejang Henry at Timbe, thanking you for being there with us. From all of us, it's goodbye.